Investor Connect podcast program. This is Hall T. Martin. I'm the host of the show, in which we interview angel investors, venture capital, private equity, family offices, and many other investor groups for startups and growth companies. I hope you enjoy this episode. Thank you for joining us. Well, hello, this is Hall Martin with Investor Connect. Today we're here with Andrii Zamovsky of Ambisafe. Andrii, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Hall.
Can you tell us a little bit about your background and what led you into the crypto world and what you're doing now?
Sure. I'm one of those computer geniuses. I started coding when I was 9, and by the age of 20, I've already built a career in software engineering and was looking for some major problem to solve. And I've been watching movies about conspiracy theories time to time, and they were talking about corrupt financial system without proposing any solution. So I thought, why wouldn't I try to solve this problem? So I decided to try to develop a decentralized financial system. Those systems now called cryptocurrencies. I started my cryptocurrency project in 2009 and have been developing it concurrently with Satoshi without knowing each other. And there were a couple of other companies putting efforts into similar projects. Satoshi has released his version faster, and when Bitcoin started to take off really fast, I switched to launching projects on top of Bitcoin. And yeah, in short, this is my background.
Can you tell us about Ambisafe and what it does?
Sure. Ambisafe is a blockchain software company specializing in software for financial markets. Our mission is to democratize financial markets, to ensure the maximum financial inclusion and make sure that everyone can use the same services like exchanges, investment services, fundraising, and so on. We were the first company that started licensing white label wallets, software for ICOs, and we also recently launched a decentralized exchange and ICO platform, 2 products in one, called Order Book.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the world of blockchain. It's changing very rapidly these days. Can you kind of give us a state of the blockchain space? How is the industry evolving?
I think the industry is doing well. Currently, we are on the lower side of the market fluctuation, unfortunately, but I think it's natural. The number of people involved in the industry keeps growing exponentially, according to my observations. It's just the markets are often overreacting. There are a lot of bubbles. So cryptocurrencies often overpriced, but there is stable growth if you compare year-to-year prices. So I think blockchain slowly moving all the business processes into digital form.
I see. And so where do you see it going? I think have moved out of that hype and hysteria phase that was 2017, and now people are looking for solid applications behind blockchain that are providing real value. When do you think we'll actually see those applications?
I think it will touch every industry, every business category that is out there, similarly to what the internet did. If you are a company that is trying to sell something and you are not utilizing internet, you are in a previous generation compared to the internet companies. Internet-based companies have much broader reach. They usually do a lot of international business shipments and so on. Blockchain does the same effect in terms of finance. If you are not using blockchain for your financial products and services, you're limiting your market to your local banking system. If you are using blockchain, accessing new emerging global financial system that is using the same standards that are being introduced to the blockchain industry. It's it connects emerging markets of all countries.
So you work with a lot of blockchain companies, and you talked about what you do there with Ambisafe. How do you select companies for your platform? What are you looking for that says that's a good company?
Yeah, really good question. We had really crazy demand for ICO-related services last year, and we had to develop a selection criteria for the projects that we think will be successful and bring most value to the industry. And this criteria for us is a company that that has already been doing business in certain market. They should already have specialized expertise in certain market or like area of services. And now they are looking to launch blockchain product to expand their reach to this new global market that is emerging thanks to blockchain. So it should be a company with existing business that is looking to introduce blockchain-based product.
We see a lot of blockchain companies coming up. Most don't have any revenue because they've tied the revenue to the token, and the token isn't really launched just yet. They have users and there's value in that, but how do you evaluate a company where there's no revenue yet, and how do you determine that there's real value that the user is pulling from that blockchain system?
This question is a little difficult, but the evaluation criteria is that, as I said, we look at whether they already had a business before blockchain or not. How do we evaluate tokens? It's usually whether a company delivers on their promises or not. Each company, when launching their token, publishes a white paper with certain milestones, and anyone can check whether they're meeting the milestones or not. And ideally, the token price should be pegged to the meeting of the milestones as promised during the fundraising phase. Unfortunately, for most of the tokens, there is a complete disconnect between token price fluctuations, deliverables that were promised.
It's the challenge in many startups is what they promise and what is delivered is sometimes a gap, and it remains to be seen if it will be closed or not. But which brings us to our next point. As a startup building in the blockchain space, what are some of the challenges you see them going through in order to bring these products to market? Where are the big issues?
Most of them underestimate the technology component, like the ease of the development of technology. Blockchain is the most expensive, the most difficult kind of database to use as a backend for your product. So if typical startup can develop an MVP within 6 to 12 months, sometimes sooner, for blockchain product, it rarely takes less than 2 years to launch at least like some first use case. And by the time it happens, most of the investors already forgot that they've invested in this company. I can use Ethereum as an example. The token sale has happened in 2014, maybe 13, like end of 2013. I don't remember precise date. And they only launched at the end of 2016, maybe middle of 2016. By that time, the price of the Ethereum token has been really low, and like everyone forgot what the promises were about and so on. And I think the same pattern will repeat for most of the blockchain-based startup, because they usually touch the core infrastructure of industries rather than products for consumers. Typical blockchain product is developing a new kind of marketplace or registry for titles or some infrastructure products. Takes magnitude more efforts to partner with all the companies that you need in your ecosystem and then launch than if you was just launch a product for existing industry.
So on the investor side, those who are investing in these blockchains, there's many risks that you look at: the regulatory, the marketing, the technology. What do you think the top risk is that investors should be trying to mitigate when they're making an investment in these deals?
The top risk, I'd say, is a real due diligence for the company. We have seen too many ICOs backed by nothing. It was basically an HTML page and white paper prepared in a matter of hours, and sometimes the same team has been doing like 3-4 ICOs in a row. It's completely unrealistic to expect that one team can work on 3 startups that are promising to be the next Facebook simultaneously. Because the market became global, it became much more difficult to do due diligence for the teams that are remote. So I would recommend to at least meet with the team, understand their background and expertise, see if they've launched anything similar before investing. Having like somebody who knows what blockchain is or can explain a couple of cryptocurrency algorithms on the team is not enough. They should have real expertise and proof record of successful achievement in the market that they're targeting.
So you see a lot of blockchain applications come through, and you see them going into many industries, fintech, supply chain, healthcare, and others. Where do you think the immediate wins will come from? What sector do you think is going to come out with valuable blockchain tools first or sooner?
The soonest one I think would be, so the first one was the currency applications like international money transfers. This is the first blockchain app, Bitcoin. The second one is equity fundraising and just fundraising in general. This is what the phenomenon of ICO represents. And financial markets will keep, blockchain-based financial markets will keep getting more and more mature. So I think financial market-related applications will be the fastest ones to deliver because most of the blockchain infrastructure is still composed of exchanges and finance-related services.
That's great. There's a lot going on in those spaces, and I think investors are anxious to see applications come out that provide real value. As we talked about, the hype and hysteria are now behind us, and the long road of building real solutions is in front of us. And so we're looking for the first signs of that would come up.
So sorry for interrupting. The next one that actually starts to show some results, and it's a relatively easy application of the blockchain, is registries of all sorts. Blockchain is a perfect place for registries of any kind, like land registry, real estate title registry, all sorts of registry, because it works as a reliable store of records that lasts forever. It's censorship resistant, therefore it's corruption resistant. You can't just edit the record without letting anyone know, like it happens a lot in developing countries. And we already seen production transactions for real estate by Propi and other similar companies. And IoT is also related to registries. So I think the other sector that will start delivering pretty soon are blockchain-based registries.
I see. Okay. Well, I think those are great applications for them as well, as the value of the blockchain really solves a problem in those industries. So that's great to hear. In the last few minutes that we have for our call today, what else should we cover?
Yeah, I would like to give a little bit of my perspective of what blockchain is actually doing. I think it's not just about finance and cross-border operations. Blockchain actually facilitates massive switch to digital signatures. Every industry, every process it touches as a part of migration to blockchain also becomes completely digital. They're getting rid of all paper-based processes. Everything is replaced with databases, like normalized databases that operate much faster than people with papers. So every industry that blockchain touches starts to operate 100 times faster and cheaper. And in this way, blockchain will accelerate processes in all economies and all industries that it will touch, because it will convert them to digital, because it's censorship resistant or anything, just because it's moving to digital finally. That's my final thought.
That's a good one. As everything goes online, there needs to be digital signatures and everything has to be represented online. So blockchain is enabling that, and it'd be interesting to see how that develops in the coming 2 years as well. So how best for the listeners to get back in touch with you?
Feel free to reach me at Andrii@ambisafe.com or just ambisafe.com and find the contact information there. Or LinkedIn. There will be a link in the podcast.
Very good. We'll put those in the show notes. The audience can get back in touch with you, and look forward to seeing you in Austin here soon, and appreciate your taking time, and looking forward to your presentation at the ICO Summit.
Sure. Thank you for having me. Nice interview.
Thank you. Investor Connect helps investors interested in startup funding. In this podcast series, experienced investors share their experience and advice. You can learn more at investorconnect.org. Paul T. Martin is the director of Investor Connect, which is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to the education of investors for early stage funding. All opinions expressed by Hall and podcast guests are solely their own opinions and do not reflect the opinion of Investor Connect. This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon as a basis for investment decisions.